everyone. Good morning. So how's everyone doing? Yay! Can we have a hands up if you're having a good time already? Yay! Awesome. Hi everyone. I'm Devyani Anand. I head the Circular Economy Initiatives at Tisser Artisan Trust, and I work with Dr. Megha Phansalkar and our amazing team. Enough has been said about sustainability and circularity. Just yesterday I was at a conference on sustainability and circularity, and we were talking about how circularity has now come to be a part of sustainability, and earlier it was an isolated term, and eventually it became a part of the Sustainable Development Goals as well. I am not going to lose much time, and I'm going to straight welcome our dignitaries for this session. As always, the lovely Ms. Ruprashi Mahapatra, Textile Commissioner, Government of India. We are very, very honored to have Ms. Ruprashi Mahapatra with us today. She's a distinguished IAS officer. She has significantly influenced India's textile sector, emphasizing growth, innovation, and sustainability. And like Vijayji said, she is a very powerful woman. Her leadership has been vital in implementing supportive policies. Her leadership has been vital in implementing supportive policies that promote inclusive growth and global competitiveness. Welcome, Ruprashi ji. We are very, very grateful and honored to have the amazing dignitaries who've very kindly accepted this invitation and taken out time for this event. To next welcome His Excellency Mr. Martin Meyer, Honorable Dean of Consuls, Switzerland. We welcome you very warmly, sir. Mr. Martin emphasizes Switzerland's unique political system, highlighting its federalism and direct democracy. He underscores the strong and enduring Indo-Swiss relations, advocating for continued collaboration across diverse fields. Please could we have you here, Mr. Martin? Next, welcome key diplomatic roles across Europe, Asia, and the US. Since joining the Mexican Foreign Service in 2000, he has played a vital role in consular and bilateral affairs, strengthening Mexico's global ties. From Finland to Ireland, Bangkok to Houston, he's been instrumental in fostering international relations. And now he's with us here in our very own Mumbai. Welcome, sir. And now, we welcome Her Excellency, Honorable Consul General of Czech Republic, Ms. Katrina Vovkova. Good morning. We're very honored to have you. She's leading the Czech Republic's diplomatic and trade relations in Western India. Under her leadership, the Czech Consulate in Mumbai plays a vital role in strengthening economic, cultural, and educational ties between India and the Czech Republic. She's been instrumental in promoting Czech businesses and collaborations in India, while also supporting the Czech community in the region. A very warm welcome to you. We'd like to welcome Her Excellency, the Honorable Consul General of Sri Lanka, Ms. Shirani Ariyaratne. A very warm welcome, ma'am. With her extensive experience in fostering bilateral trade, investment, and cultural relations, Ms. Shirani has played a key role in strengthening Indo-Sri Lankan partnerships, and her leadership in initiatives such as business networking forums and tourism collaborations has significantly contributed to enhancing economic ties. This very, very esteemed panel today, the discussion today, is going to be centered around circularity, best practices in circularity from an Indian and global perspective, and how this could lead to women empowerment and fostering women in the economy. I now leave the stage to our keynote speakers so that you can take it ahead.
Respected Dr. Medha Pansalkar, Dr. Vijay Kalantri, amazing team of World Trade Center, my all dignitaries present with me on the dais, all our various consul generals in India. It's a matter of actually great privilege to be with all of you, and specifically after the fact that March is normally very, very tight for Government of India, but I was very happy that we are able to do it today. In my case, we finished our targets by 106%, so I'm quite happy that I can be little relaxed while I discuss this subject, which is so close to me. In terms of not only my primary responsibilities as Textile Commissioner, but rather expanding view as well as responsibility for this amazing textile sector for which I have been contributing my might since Government of India gave me the baton. Now, Maha Collab, ma'am used a lot of other things about Maha. I just want to explain to my friends who are, Maha also means grand. So Maha is not just Maharashtra, it's the grand initiative for all of us to come together and look at challenges, look at solutions, possibility of replicating those solutions for the sake of what we believe in India, as this earth is Mother Earth, as culturally we say, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. So we need to be resource efficient so that we can save our planet. It's a one for all and all for one, and any such initiative which is done between the intelligentsia, between trade, between industry, I would like to put in my support as well as my perspective. Now, since I come from textiles, and I believe textiles has such an amazing vast spectrum. Traditionally, all of us look at textiles, obviously, as the handlooms, handicrafts, which are low energy consuming. So ab initio, by the nature of it, they are sustainable. In terms of energy consumption, they impact a lot of livelihoods. In our case, about 70 lakh people are directly supported or being, they are in the system. 70 lakh is about 7 million people who are directly in handlooms and handicrafts, where Government of India with the state government supports them. So that's one part of our textile spectrum. Then comes textiles, what Kalantri Sahab indicated, starting from our fibers. We are the strongest, I would say, in terms of the quantum, we are the largest contributor to the cotton economy of the world. We are branding now cotton. We look up to Egyptian model. We are branding Indian cotton as Kasturi cotton so that we can get better value returns for our farmers also. And we are the second largest in case of silk, second largest in case of jute and man-made fiber. This textile industry, which is spanning across all the kind of weaving, we have full value chain with us, from the fiber to factory to fashion to foreign. These are the words which we try to make it simple for everybody to understand, because it's not just what we look at finally apparel. Textile value chain is a very long value chain, and in case of India, and I'm sure rest of the world also, it employs a lot of people. In case of India, as of now assessment are we employ 5.4 crore directly and equal number indirectly. That makes it 10 crore people who are directly involved, and we create about 2% of the GDP, and the kind of livelihood support it gives across the value chain, across the states, is humongous. Here, yes, internationally sustainability is about $580 billion business now. electronics, etc., 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 within which textiles is about, as of now, only $20 billion sustainability industry. But why circularity? According to me, I have been trying to push it across that textile does not create waste. Textiles is a resource and can be continuously recycled into some other product or some other usable category for human beings. Why? Because at the initial state, whatever resources it consumes, it should not go waste by quick discard of utility, from utility perspective. And that is where the whole textile recycling as an initiative is being considered. Now, whoever is familiar with textiles would know that textiles is not just fiber, we have a lot of chemicals going in. So what are the key resources we use to produce textiles are water, energy, machinery, your chemicals, and huge number of people, which indicate the social relevance of the whole vast industry. If this industry take care of the sustainability principles, if we do not look at how to make it more resource efficient, it will not be good for two reasons. One, it will put unnecessary pressure, or rather avoidable pressure, on the resources that we have, that is the primary resource of land and water, and chemicals definitely. So there are n number of initiatives which we are doing, and in that case, one major initiative of this recycling to having two kind of verticals. One vertical is we should be able to collect it and bring it back to fiber cycle. As I explained to some you, particularly for the students who are here, textiles is not just what we wear, which you see me wear here. It goes through a very long cycle from the farm upwards, or if it is a man-made fiber, from factory upwards. So how do we ensure that once it is used, which is the post-consumer textiles? See, at the factory level, whatever are the cut set pieces, we have a tradition. For quite some time, India has certain hubs where we are actually recycling back to fiber, and they are getting into slightly lower coarse variety, but we are bringing it back to the market in different products. But post-consumer textiles waste hasn't had a very, very reliable model even in Western world. Though I used to think that why it is there, why my North counterparts in North are not able to give. A very interesting reply came from one of them. See that what strength you have is of population. You can create lot of critical mass, and hence getting back to fiber, we need lot of critical mass of cellulosic fibers. While in case of any other place, that itself the logistic cost of collection becomes a challenge, and that's what Gerzi said, the most important challenge in post-consumer textile is to bring back to the fiber cycle is to collect, sort, and then give it back to spinners, get it again from spinners to weaving, processing, etc., etc. So I'm sure whatever is our strength in terms of our demographic strength, in terms of our initiative by the very, very well organized bureaucracy, in terms of our amazing municipalities, no competition between Indore and Navi Mumbai. I think Indore, Navi Mumbai, Surat are all the leaders who will take rest of India along with. So when this idea came, I would like to give this, acknowledge the nudge given by our Commerce Minister and the then Textile Minister, Goyal sir. He said, why do we need to get anything from outside? Why don't we collect it in an organized way? And this was a meeting which was happening, and the cellulosic fibers guys were saying that we are not able to do a recycling in India because we are not able to collect it in an organized way. So we took the challenge to bite the bullet, and we are looking at two important verticals. One is bringing it back to the fiber cycle, for which we have technology for cellulosic fibers. We have technology for man-made fiber, but that is the polyester base, but that's as of now very costly, but we are engaging with the suppliers and innovators to how to make it happen. Second, which is more socially relevant for India, And I would say that is where the initiative of TRISA is going to help us, is to get whatever we are getting, we are collecting, develop it into products which are, see, we are doing this activity for maybe 20 years, starting from Gudris in Maharashtra or a number of things we are doing in India. We don't really send it to landfills till we use it fully. So the culture is there in terms of using, increasing the life of textile resource. But how do we make the product such that that creates an assurance for the buyer? So we are trying to do it in a very scientific way. TISR is helping us. It will create lot of livelihoods in creating products which have good marketability. We are developing traceability there. We are looking at bringing them to government e-marketplace. We already have a project so that we can certify the products. So anybody who is buying in government, means, and including, I'll request you when you create your offices, we have a mandate for our offices in India to take something, about 15 to 25% of our official requirements from medium, small enterprises. So this recycling will be done through SHGs or through TISR guidelines. These can directly become products to be procured. So the marketing cycle is completed, because that is the kind of mandate we are giving to our government offices. And government offices are very, very big procuring agents. So what we are requesting, I requested Dr. Medha Bansalkar also, one part is creating beauty, but more important part is creating volumes. In handlooms, we cannot create huge volumes, but let us create, say, for example, file covers in a designed way which can be collected by everybody, used by everybody, instead of buying, say, single-use plastic as covers for official stationery. So that product designing, etc., Madam has agreed, their teams will be helping us. So we are looking at that kind of synergy here. And I once again congratulate all of you to bring all our consulates here. We have a FTA with Switzerland. We look forward to synergies at each point of value chain in textiles. And from our side, why did we look at it to do it from Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation in a structured way? People are doing a lot of things, but we need to have a model which we can replicate for across India, and then create in-loop recycling as well as circularity, as well as out-of-loop circularity. You would be glad to know, in case of petro products, we are already, the PET bottles are being recycled to textiles. 96% of PET in India is recycled to textile jackets. Honorable Prime Minister had also worn one of these jackets. So we are looking for this whole synergy amongst all of us. We look forward to your interest in our processes, which are going to be very, very strongly peer-reviewed and tested with our international partners also, with due traceability and assurance to the buyer, and create a model for the rest of the world in textile segment. I refrain to call it waste, because I believe fashion is not to look at it in a little pejorative way. It is a resource. It becomes waste when it cannot be used. Till the time it can be used by any point of society, and it can generate livelihoods, it can support entrepreneurship, it is a resource. So I would like to call it as a textile resource recycling. I am thankful to all the partners who have come forward. From government side, we are looking forward to, and that is where I am thankful to SBI Foundation. This is a foundation, a public sector foundation, which is funding this initiative. So we are not, as of now, as a pilot, we are not loading it on the taxpayers' funds, because we know we will have certain hiccups, we will get over those, we will create a protocol, a very, very strong, replicable, traceable protocol for textile industry, textile ecosystem as a whole. With these few words, I want to thank Dr. Medha Bansalkar to immediately join when I told her, ki ma'am, we want to do this. You have a strength of lot of people with you, lot of SHGs, particularly women in textiles. Any case, 7 out of 10 workers at the apparel end are women. So in any case takes care of SHG requirements. So what we are trying to do, bring in the needs and requirements of compliance for the benefit of our industry as well as, I would say, country and the rest of the world. With these few words, I thank you again, ma'am, to have invited me and given me a chance to interact and put our project, which is one of its kind and hopefully would be applauded soon and by rest of the world also. Already Prime Minister of India has mentioned it in the Bharat Tax, and Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation Commissioner is sure that we can give as an MMC model to the rest of the urban local bodies, and then supplemented by good regulations on the issues we should be able to. I want regulation to follow the movement, not front-end it, because when we front-end it, it ends up creating some kind of regression in the approach. So let us join our heads together and make a very, very replicable model for textile resource recycling. Best part is making it fashionable in the evening. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everybody.
Well, distinguished guests, esteemed partners from the World Trade Center, TISER, and the All India Association of Industries, it is a true honor to be here today to celebrate and explore the intersection of circular economy and artisanship, where tradition meets innovation to create a more sustainable and inclusive future. Artisanship is inherently circular. It embodies sustainability through the revitalization of traditional techniques, the use of natural and recycled materials, and the fostering of local supply chains that minimize waste. Around the world, artisans, particularly women, play a crucial role in preserving cultural heritage while driving local economies. Yet for too long, their potential has been constrained by barriers such as limited market access, insufficient financing, and a lack of global recognition. All these issues that TISER so commendably tackles head on. Integrating craftsmanship into the circular economy is not just about sustainability. It is about economic justice and resilience. Many global best practices showcase how artisanship can lead the way in circularity. India's century-old traditions of textile repurposing are a great example, demonstrating that circularity is not a new concept, but one deeply rooted in craftsmanship. Mexico also offers a powerful perspective in this field. Our artisans, particularly indigenous women, are not only custodians of centuries-old traditions, but also pioneers in sustainable resources management and social innovation. Our President, Claudia Sheinbaum, has recognized their invaluable contributions to all aspects of this of life by declaring 2025 the Year of Indigenous Women, underscoring their leadership in economic, social, and political transformation. Mexico actively supports its artisans through initiatives that promote fair trade, cooperative business models, and financial inclusion, with aims of ensuring the best opportunities to access global markets and receive a fair compensation, which is a key issue. As we look into the future, let us then recognize that circularity and artisanship are not separate conversations, but part of a shared vision, one where craftsmanship is valued not just for its beauty, but for its role in sustainability, economic empowerment, and cultural preservation. I really commend all parties involved in championing this cause. Mexico stands with you in building a more inclusive, sustainable, and equitable global economy. Thank you very much.
Megha, thank you very much for inviting me and your team. It's amazing what you were able to organize here today. Commissioner, thank you very much for being with us here. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you about circular economy in Switzerland. We started about 60 years ago with the idea. I have to say that as a schoolboy, I remember how collecting resources started with paper. Then glass came. And today we are at the point in Switzerland where for some products, for example PET, we arrived at over 90% of recycling. How did we do that? I think there are two elements to it. One is education. Our teachers in school from a very early age on taught us how important resources are, especially in a country like Switzerland, which doesn't have any natural resources except water, wood, and people. So it was a constant messaging, but not only to school children, also to students, to adults. And if I look at the situation today, it worked quite well. The second necessity was to give opportunities. So paper was collected at the beginning, I think once a month. Everybody was allowed to put it on the street in a neatly package, and then once a month it was collected. My hometown offered every 2 weeks a collection of glass bottles. In the meantime, we installed fixed places where people can bring their glass bottles, and they can even separate them between white glass, green glass, and brown glass. And the third is pressure. The best pressure in Switzerland is make it to cost something. In Switzerland, garbage has to be brought out of the house in special bags. And we have to buy these bags. And a garbage bag of 60 liters is about $5. So everybody now has the interest to put as little garbage as possible in these bags and recycle whatever he can. Then certain vendors of articles, for example batteries, are obliged to accept empty batteries to be returned. So whenever you go to a shop which sells batteries, you can bring your old batteries there. Whether you bought them in this shop or not doesn't matter. You are allowed to deposit them there. We have the possibility to deposit aluminium. And in this about 60 years, Switzerland was now active in recycling. We became, within Europe at least, the recycling champions. It worked quite well, everybody is aware of it, and I can tell you now when I'm in Switzerland, it got so elaborated that I often have difficulties. How do I recycle now this, and how do I have to do that? And it's quite complicated, but the people who live there are able to do it. And I think it's also important, everybody is convinced that it is a necessity and likes to do it. Thank you very much.
Very good morning to all of you, and thank you for having me here. I always feel empowered to be a panelist at events which have meaning. And I can already feel that this event has a meaning. It's a 2-day event. I am quite sure that it took lots of effort, lots of hard work to put everything together, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. I am a woman, and possibly I was expecting to talk on the subject women empowerment. But eventually I changed my mind and I found more challenging subject circularity. circular economy, and therefore I picked on this one. Before I get to the topic, I would like to share a thought of one word which has been resonating this whole morning among us, and it's textile. It has been mentioned so many times that I really have to comment on that. The Czech Republic, Czechia, has been one of the top textile leaders in past 60 years. We have been cooperating with India in textile industry for decades. And I am very proud saying that. Back to circular economy. I did some digging because I really didn't know much about this subject. And I must say that the Czech Republic implemented the framework for circular economy, which surprised me. But yes, we are not as advanced as Switzerland, which has 60 years already experience. We have just started. In 2021, we implemented the strategy on circular economy, and we take small steps to achieve the goals. We are supposed to achieve the goals by 2040, and we have plans, 5-year plans. 2022 to 2027 is the first one. So we are trying to do the best. And we already have few startups, small companies, which try to focus. They are enthusiasts, they are young entrepreneurs, and they are trying to focus on recycling, on reusable clothing, on reusable construction, water management, environment as such. And I found it really necessary in these days. We need to make environment better, the planet better, because we live in it. And that is the goal for all of us. So I think with clear policy, with legislature, which is very much needed to achieve this goal, and above all with positive and progressive thinking, I think we can make it all together. Thank you very much.
Ayubovan, Namaste, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to be with you here today at the Mahakolab inauguration and the discussion on circularity. At the first, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Kalantri and Ms. Priya Pansari and all the staff organizing this event and inviting me to be with you today. It seeks to engage national government departments, private companies, NGOs, as well as local community priority areas of interest include disposal and control of plastic, street littering, and preservation efforts. This project is working to protect the country of beauty with greenery and lone sandy beaches of Sri Lanka from plastic pollution, poor waste disposal, and destruction of forests through raising awareness, promote eco-friendly practices, empowering locals to take ownership through active involvement, strategies to minimize waste generation and improve recycling practices. This year's budget of Sri Lanka, it has allocated 5 billion Sri Lankan rupees for this Clean Sri Lanka program. This project focuses on engaging local communities, public and private sector organizations, and also with the NGOs and INGO sectors and donor community. This initiative seeks to create a culture of cleanliness and environmental stewardship, driving both behavioral changes, physical, psychological, and emotional. That is important to have it because with the humans, sometimes we are having not to use the recycled products, but it is must, we have to go with that. The system improvements in a culture of responsibility, ethics and values towards creating a better society is the target of this program. The basic principles of circularity, as we all know, the reduce, reuse and recycle. It can be done by anyone, but to have a good practice on that. The good mantra to go by is buy better and buy less. Because you have to remember, waste extends beyond material items too. Food waste is also another one of these issues, and simple action like compositing your food scraps can make a difference. As a woman, we have a big role to involve in this matter. So give being a bit more circular and less wasteful a try. If more people get going, then it's a good way to turn the micro into the macro and start seeing wider change. Thank you. When it comes to 2030 agenda of the sustainable development, is the global movement to end poverty, protect the planet and improve the lives and prospects of everyone, everywhere. The Sustainable Development Council of Sri Lanka, we integrate the 3 dimensions of sustainable development and incorporates a holistic approach where all ecological, social and economic dimensions are recognized equally in creating a sustainably developed Sri Lanka for all. We believe harmonizing these 3 dimensions will have a remarkable impact on our country's economy, environment and well-being of every citizen, environmental, social and economic. When it comes to the textile industry, as we all discussed today in many ways, and our commissioner explaining well, and I also got many points how to connect with Sri Lanka to protect our environment in this circularity economy. As you all know, India, Sri Lanka, we are having a very good cooperation and we have bilateral free trade agreement. Under the free trade agreement, we are getting 8 billion pieces thanks to India to export Sri Lankan apparels into India with the free duty. Thank you for the government for giving this opportunity, and we really appreciate the cooperation extended by the textile community. When it comes to the textile industry, as clearly explained by the Commissioner, there is a more way to cooperate in this circularity and how to reuse the textile industry and textile materials. With going with the Indians, as Sri Lankans, government officials, we always wear saris, that is 6 meters. After using these saris, the 6 meter material, we can reuse for many things. When discussing this important forum and the month of Women's Day celebration in March, many women we are wearing clothing and especially saris. We have a good responsibility how to secure our environment and to contribute for this recycling and the circularity economy. Not only the textile sector, but also for all the other ways we are utilizing day-to-day works. What are the other materials? Everything we can utilize again to give more secure life and the earth for our younger generation and future. I'm so proud to say, when it comes to the plastic recyclation, Eco Splinters is a leading polyester yarn and filaments manufacturer in Sri Lanka, with one of only 2 plants in the world capable of creating polyester yarn directly from recycled plastic flakes. It is also the largest plastic recycler in Sri Lanka. Notably, the company has pioneered a robust recycling ecosystem fostering the growth of sustainable practices in Sri Lanka. With a vast network of over 500 registered collectors, Eco-Sprinter sources use these plastic flakes bottles through collaboration with corporations, collectors, the Waste to Value mobile app and the wider community, which actively contributes to the collection of plastic flakes. Adding to its impact, the Pilgrim Waste Management Initiative hosted by the company endeavors to preserve sacred sites by installing and maintaining collection bins for discarded plastic bottles, showcasing the company's commitment to both environmental stewardship and cultural observations. We can see when we enter and when we contribute for this circularity economy, not only the one section, it combined with many other areas. It will give you an income. It will help to protect our environment. It will save our money, timing, and also contribute for the country's beauty. When come to the tourism, that is also encouraging for that. Therefore, many ways we can contribute with our morality and our attitudes to join with this important concept. Today, I also would like to express with you, when I hear about Mahakolam, I didn't know about what is the meaning we are using that Maha. But as our commission explained, that is the similar word with the meaning of our own language. We are also using Maha for the great meaning. Then we can see how India and Sri Lanka, we are connecting each other with the theme of today's Mahakolam event. Not only that word is, but many other areas, we are already connected with India and Sri Lanka in the culture, region, economy, all the aspects. There are many ways to connect with Sri Lanka, and under the free trade agreement and the close by country connection each other, daily flights moving from most of all over India, major cities to Colombo, Sri Lanka. Therefore, at the month of celebration Women's Day, many audience representing the women's, not only for them but also all the audience, and the institutions and the government of India, all the participants representing institutions. I warmly welcome you to connect with Sri Lanka, to initiate and make strength to connect with both countries in the circularity economy. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Please, may I invite Dr. Megha? Please, could you felicitate and give a small token of appreciation to our guests today?
There's a small request. In case you are leaving, there's a beautiful show I had put by the Padam Se, and we want all of you to give us a signature to pledge for women's safety and security. So the board is out there. In case you are witnessing, she will welcome everybody to do that. In case you wish to leave, which we don't want you to go, but in case you are leaving by any chance, please sign before you leave.
Please may I also request Her Excellency, Consul General of Egypt, Miss Dalia Tavakol. Please could I invite you on stage? Thank you so much. Please, could I also invite the Vice Consul of the US? Please. Thank you very much once again.